Hey everyone. Man, it is cold out. We're gonna try to make it to the aircraft movement area here without freezing. I think it's about 1 or 2 degrees, I don't remember. Went outside about 5:30 to get puff started. Cold day. We got all the heaters going. So, what have I been doing lately? Well, I've been looking at engines. And you wouldn't believe all the fraud on barnstormers. People are screenshotting old logbooks that people have listed engines for sale in the past. And they're using them, they're photoshopping them. And some of it's so obvious. The font is clear, and we got clear font on the photocopied logbooks, and then people call you that don't speak very clearly. So that was frustrating, but I think I've got something figured out. We'll make a different video up for that. I do want some help. I need help. Actually, I've been doing some reading. This old tire, look at this thing. I wonder how old it is. I took it off, the other day. There's that one. And, these are turned inward so they could fit on the trailer when we brought it here. This is also kind of upside down here somehow. But, so I wonder how old these are. There is a code on there, and I was reading about it on the internet, but really got kind of confused after reading several things. These are Goodyear tires, and I guess Goodyear tires have been around for a long time, way back when. And some were made in Thailand, maybe they still are, and there's another country that makes them. So, we kind of think of who knows? Are any of these made in America? Who knows? But, these are brand new, but I should say they've been never used. What year were they bought? The logs, I'll have to go through them. I don't think they listed anything related to the tire purchase. Where was that code? There's a code on here. Here it is. Now, the reason why I'm confused, hopefully I'm not making you dizzy here. I'm kind of just holding my phone. And my eyes aren't focusing themselves. That code is... I already lost it. I'm going to have to get my glasses out. This is the outer part, no code here. And then, the tube's in there. I'll show you the wheel in a minute. There's the code. I got to keep staring at it. From an angle, it looks so different. There it is. So it says, as far as I can tell, either 8 or B. I think that's an 8. 8Z or 2. That's probably a 2. 821199001. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Z though. Anyway, when I look at this and I look on the internet, I think around 2000 something they changed the coding system. This tire, who knows how old it is? I mean, it could be 50 years old, but I don't think it is. I'm trying to figure that out. So if you're really bored on this cold snow day, you could try to figure that one out. There it is. So I don't know, was it 2001? I don't know. These all have a numbering system that's kind of confusing based on the way they talk about it on the internet. Anyway, we're going to get new tires. Hey, let me show you the wheel. I'd never done this before, of course. Some of you guys are probably like, this is boring. So here's the brake, Cleveland brake, and this was made in Look at that, 1969. This thing's 50-something years old, I guess. Anyway, I put these parts back here just to, so you can see how the hub comes apart, so you can put the wheel on, and then you bolt it back together. Kind of neat. Makes it easier, right? So that's waiting for a new tire and tube. And then we'll do the other side. So I turned the wing like this so I could kind of start sanding some of the rough spots. The micro balloons I put together, they're sanding pretty good. I'm gonna try some more of that. I don't know, not today, but you can see how I've sanded that. Really, I'm just trying to take down some of the buckets have a little bit of a ridge to them in different places, but I don't want to sand too much because I don't want to weaken that fiberglass wing. You can kind of see in there. You can see that bracket here that's been bolted. And definitely here's a lot more fiberglass. I need to do another coat or sand that a little better. And I don't really want to get too involved with this. It's really pretty good overall for what it is. So we got a little bit of that to do. Again, the story on the engines, definitely, it's hard to find a good engine. Hard to find a good engine, and I think we might have found one. So that's going to be exciting. But it happens to come with a prop that's a little bit too big. So we're probably going to put bigger tires on this thing. A little bit bigger tires. That'll be all right. It'll be good. You know, the last episode I had kind of rough cut this curved windshield, and I've got it just sitting here, and I've kind of got it so it's conformed to somewhat of the shape it's going to be in. And really, once we get that engine mounted and we get some of the ideas going up forward, we can, you know, work on that. I put the first bike wheel in the back just to get an idea of measurement. You know, this is definitely going to haul 2 bikes behind the front 2 seats. And I'm having some trouble designing the seats. Really, really kind of tricky. I thought this heavy-duty aluminum, you know, you can see this is a little thinner. I forget, I don't want to say the size, I don't remember. But these are double thickness here. They're pretty strong, and I thought that they would be lighter than iron chromoly pipe. But the other day I went over here and I looked at this. Check this out. So here, look at that. Look how thick that is. Thick stuff. So this is pretty strong aluminum. It's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then whatever thickness that was. And I've got 2 pipes here. So here's a iron or 4130 chromoly. This was a leftover piece from the control rods. And it's really strong. And I thought to myself, okay, the aluminum is going to be lighter weight. Well, it's my fancy scale Lori got for me. It happens to be science approved. Okay, so here we go. That one just 191 grams. And then this one, 140 grams. And it's longer. It really surprised me. You know, whenever you just grab stuff and you just fill it, it's kind of hard to tell how heavy it is. It really is. And you know, you'd think, oh, this is heavier. So I'm going to get more of these. I don't have enough, otherwise I'd start working on it. And I'm going to run these across the floorboard and probably weld a little flat pad on this to be able to hook up some screws on there to hold it on the inside. And I'll run 2. And then we'll figure out how the seats will attach. I also do want to drop the rail down I want to drop it down some so that way there's a little more clearance with that metal spar there. So anyway, it's too bad I can't just go to the hardware store and get the stuff. I went looking at some of the local places and they have thicker, heavier, not really as nice of parts as the aircraft store. Gosh, it's cold. Got puff going, it'll help. Really, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do today. I'm kind of all over the place, as you know. I did the other day go over here. Oh, it's hard to walk around now, even more so. So I've got basically this back little piece cut out for the access panel. And I was experimenting with the, I took it off that little support so that way I could see how far it, sat down on the ground. So, man, it's colder over here by this garage. Really, I need to get some more parts. I need the window pieces here, a little thinner window pieces. I still haven't gotten the door frame material. You can see these micro balloons here that haven't been sanded. I didn't sand those, how rough that is. But most of this wing is pretty smooth. I've seen a couple pictures of someone taking a photo out of the BD4 cockpit while they're flying. And you can definitely see the pattern on these. I don't think there's going to be any way to hide that. I'm not going to try to hide that. But I do want to get rid of some of the rough spots. All of these are glued really nicely, except for that one I might have shown you a while back. This very first one was not, and actually I still need to glue it on this side. You can see that is not glued. So I'm not gonna do that today. It's too cold, and I also kind of need like a little bit of like almost a needle to inject it underneath there, the epoxy. And the fuel tank starts here. This is the first bay for the fuel tank. The leading edge is really strong on these wings in this area where the fuel tank is. Actually, it goes, I cannot even really squeeze that. Pretty impressed with that, but it's heavy though. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 buckets. That's the way the builder that did this, glued it together, made it. And I think, well, the plans, I think they're saying 7 gallons per bucket about. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 28. So double that up. Right now, the way that's set up, a little over 50 gallons, something like that. Anyway, lots of parts. Haven't really worked on it for about a week because of work. And I've actually made a few videos, mainly that wheel, but I changed it. I decided not to do it, post it, because I was reading the code incorrectly. So I don't know if you wrote down that code, if that code is even correct. Here's what I'm going to start working on today. I decided to not try to drill a hole through this rod. I attempted it over here and it just got messy, and the bit and the hole's so small. I'm gonna put one of those, like, I think they call them wheel collars or turnbuckles on both sides of this. And honestly, you can't move it laterally at all the way it is now. But I'm gonna put a clamp here, and then I might put a second clamp on both sides. And then when this goes into the stabilator, the ribs, the stabilator hooks up here, and the rib itself, I'm gonna make it a little stronger. It will provide a barrier. So there's really no way that this rod will move laterally with clamps and a wall on both sides of it. And I think that'll just be easier than clamping it down or drilling a hole through there. It'll be easier to clamp it. So I might add a little length to this side. Depending, I'm going to go measure that stabilator and see how much room I've got. And I do need to drill some more holes. I think there's 3 on that. And then there's a couple up here I need to drill to mount this to the back of the fuselage. And this piece was pre-welded and came with a kit, as you can see. You know, stabilators, I don't really like stabilators, but that's what it has. Maybe it's better, I don't know. I haven't really, last thing I'll show you, I have not spent much time studying the way the trim system works for the, I think they call it the anti-servo tab. And it looks kind of complicated. This is the back of the fuselage near the tail. And, you know, here's that stabilator bracket that I just showed you here that I was talking about drilling that. There's the axle right there. You can see that. That's what I was trying to draw over there on the drill press, but really couldn't do it very good. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. They're not showing the tail wheel pulleys. And you can see these pulleys here. And then there's a mechanism that goes up and down based on the pulley system. And it basically changes this rod's position to move the anti-servo tab. That just seems so complicated to me. I think there's a new system out, and I might try to definitely get a hold of that information because I don't know, is it this complicated? So here's the cables. This is like coming out the back of the fuselage, and you can see the cables being brought towards the midline, and it's just a whole lot of fancy stuff. But I definitely, as far as the other plans go, I've got all this figured out now. Pretty happy with that. I've got all that figured out. And you know, a lot of times I just stand in here and I'll just stare at this stuff and I'll go grab a bolt and then move it to the spot. Something I kind of wish I would have done is built little shelves in front of these plans so I could literally just stack the parts in a position here on the wall for each picture. You know, that would be nice. I haven't gotten that fancy yet. I kind of have them all over the table over on the other side of the room, and that's why you see all this stuff everywhere. So it is definitely cold in here still. I'm gonna get Puff going a little more, drink some coffee from my Pioneer Woman coffee cup, and try to get something done. Because next week, we are gonna go to Nashville area and have some damn hot chicken. That's what they call it there. Actually, I'm not gonna get that again. It was way too hot. It was good though. Golly, that was good. Forget the name of the place. Maybe I'll do an episode about that next time. This wheel's 15 inches in diameter. So the prop, based on the prop that they talk about in the plans, they say you can have a 72-inch prop, which honestly, that seems a little big to me, actually. But let's say we can have a 72-inch prop. The prop I think that I have run into, it's really nice, is maybe 4 or 5 inches bigger. So if I got 20-inch tires on this, which I kind of wanted bigger tires anyway, just a little bit bigger, in case, you know, I'm landing on a grass runway somewhere. And I'm not too worried about speed. I want to be able to land on an island again. That's so much fun. You know, go fast, but not as fast, and be able to land on somewhere that's not super short field, but something that might be a little rougher. So I'm not for sure what size of wheel that's going to be. Another option would be making a bracket. There's kind of already a bracket here, but somehow extending that a couple inches, or doing both. And I know that puts more stress on the landing gear. I need to be careful with how extreme that gets. I don't want to make it too big. The lever arm would be greater and put more stress on the whole system, really. So I don't want to change it too much, but I think I'm going to try to get that 70, I think it was 76.5 inches prop two-bladed on there. Kind of came with the engine. It was matched for it, constant speed. So that would be awesome. All right, time to drink some coffee. You guys have a great day, and we're gonna have some fun engine pictures coming up soon.